Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second AeroGear community meeting. I know you are probably expecting Jason to facilitate this meeting, but he has some other commitments, so he asked me to step in instead. So I will help with the meeting today. So I'm just going to share my screen now. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Okay, so the first thing is if you have anything that you want to discuss for today, feel free to add new card to this new items column. So let me just put the link in the chat window here. And so in the meantime, we probably will review the action items from last meeting. So I think there are two actions that at the moment. So this one is in progress. This is about close non-AeroGear projects. So in the last meeting, we decided that we're going to just use AeroGear project for all the projects. So Laura, is it still in progress or is it done?
Still in progress. Myself and Jason tipped away at moving tickets from the other projects into AeroGear. Some of those were closed as out of date in the process of that. So if people want to review any older tasks and open them again, that's perfectly fine. Work away on that. And the last thing to do is just actually close down the project. So that's still outstanding.
Okay. When do we expect this will be done? Do you have any idea?
I'll think with Jason about it, but I'm pretty sure with the tickets moved, we can do that pretty much today or tomorrow.
Great. Okay, thanks, Laura. Any questions from anyone else?
Yeah, how we are going to track different kind of platform or sub-project on only one AeroGear project? We are going to use a component, label, or something like that? Because we did that in the past and it was like a hell. That's why we have created this one project per platform.
Could be something that we need to discuss in the community. So I would suggest Passos adding a card to the new column and we can talk about that. The labeling was very inconsistent from what I've seen. So maybe we need to just make a decision around that and communicate it. So my suggestion to you would be add it to the new column, and if it's voted today, we can discuss it today.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Passos. Anyone else? Any questions? Okay. Then let's look at other actions from last meeting. This one we have a to-do, and this is assigned to Summers about create a proposal, communicate for dog food app to AeroGear/proposal GitHub. So Passos, this is still, Summers, this is still to do at the moment?
Yeah, last week I kind of got consumed by Xamarin and Android Works with a couple of bugs and things. As far as working on this, though, I have managed to start reviewing the ROAR runtime. So when I toss the proposal onto the mailing list, I actually have something to propose as opposed to, hey, wouldn't this be nice? But it's on my calendar for this week to do.
Cool. Do you need any help with it, or are you happy to do it by yourself? Continue in this week or next week?
I'm happy to do it by myself. If I need help, I'll raise it on the mailing list.
Cool, great. Yeah, let us know if you need any help with this, and I'm sure someone else will happy to step in and help you with it if you have any problem with it. Cool. Okay. Thanks, Summers. I think that's the actions from last meeting. Okay, so is someone trying to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to just comment on the archived ones. So the ones that we made a decision on last time, I've moved to archive, and I didn't move. Oh, I also added some labels as well. So the date label and the decision made label. But as you can see, the one that Summers is working on is still over in the discuss column. And the reason that one's still there is because it's something that we want to come back around to. That was the reasoning for what was archived and what wasn't.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's very nice. Thanks, Laura. I guess we need to follow the same format if there's any decision made this week.
Yeah, I can tip away in the labels in the background as well.
Cool. Thanks, Laura. Okay, if there's nothing else from the actions, we can probably look at what we want to discuss today. So there's already a few items in the new items column here. So I'll give you maybe 5 minutes to adding more stuff and also vote on the issues that we want to discuss. And we will then pick probably the top 3 for discuss for today. So please create cards and vote on the cards if you can, and we can then start discuss. I'll just stop sharing for the moment. Okay, has everyone voted? Has anyone not voted? Do we need more minutes, or should we start discussing?
I'd say go for it, Wei.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. Looks like someone already moved the top voted cards to top. So thanks. So we have 4 votes on CI/CD for docs.aerogear.org, 4 votes on Swag for community release, and there's a couple of 3 votes. So yeah, so let's get started. So I think this one is on the discussion. So CI/CD for docs.aerogear.org. So we want to have 10 minutes on each of the items. So I'll start timing now. So At the moment we have, so okay, so Paul White, you create this card. Do you want to say something about this one?
Don't think he's on today. I think this might have been a card from previous.
Oh, right. Okay. Do we actually need him to on this one to actually be able to talk about this? Oh, I think
It wouldn't hurt to have him there. I have circulated some thoughts on the community OpenShift instance and a kind of a grand plan for having it as our CI/CD area for the website, for the docs, for the services and the showcase apps. So I think this would potentially fall in to that larger discussion. But without the person who created the card here, maybe we should just leave it on the back of the or the top of the agenda until.
I might be able to add a bit of context. I did. I think Paul had sent a mail about this as well. But just in terms of the plan for the shared instance, is that a blocker for this one, or could we go ahead and, let's say, create the job on a different Jenkins somewhere, and then like have it running, and then move it over to the shared one when that's created?
I think we could. I mean, the CI/CD build piece is one piece, and then where the docs actually get output to was another piece. So I had it in mind that this community OpenShift instance would be both the CI/CD environment and the hosting environment for the AeroGear website and for the docs. So it will bring together the building and the deployment and being able to do staging and things like that. I don't know what's there at the moment. I think maybe we need Paul to give more insight into what's currently there and what needs to be done.
Well, I'd say maybe ping him on that card then with those questions, I guess.
Like if looking at the card, he's saying currently we manually copy the output to docs.aerogear.org. Could we automate this? And if we're looking to automate the CD bit, the deployment bit, then it feels like it might be throwaway work if we automate it for our current approach, if we're going to change the approach soon.
okay. I think it sounds like we probably leave it for the moment, and we leave it into the top of the agenda, and we can discuss once Paul is online. Hopefully he'll be able to join us next time. I think it's probably we need some from his input to understand the issue here and to discuss this. Are we happy with that?
Yep, sounds good.
Cool. Okay. So the next item here is track for community release. So this is from John.
Yeah. So I am working with the Eng management team to secure some budget for swag for the community release. I'm going to be looking to get some quotes on different things kind of this week. So I just wanted to throw it out to the group and get any ideas, thoughts, feedback on the types of swag we might want. My own kind of thoughts had been to look at maybe t-shirts or hoodies for the staff, for the core contributors, and smaller things that would be easy to bring to conferences, the likes of the multi-headed USB chargers or the little battery packs logoed up with AeroGear, something mobile related, because, well, we are mobile services. And just wondering if people have any thoughts on that or anything else that they might like. So I see two links to the same thing here.
John, this is Brian. Do you still have the links to the catalogs that we sent over a while back before Summit?
I'm sure I do somewhere, yes.
Okay, and let OSAS know, like, if you need any help getting some design elements done.
Yes, I also have an offer from a guy called James Cobb, I think it is, around design stuff.
Okay.
The link here to Cafe Press, where and when did this come from?
Come from Red Hat. Jay sent me this when I was a contributor.
Okay, so there's quite a bit here. It's a good list to have. I guess what I'm really trying to do is narrow down to some specific items. Obviously, we can't get everything. So, do people have any specific thoughts on items they would like to see?
T-shirts.
I have an old AeroGear hoodie and I would love a newer one. Or maybe a onesie, because we have a few people who have children. So it'd be cute to have a limited run of AeroGear baby swag.
Okay. So let me see. So feedback of what did we hear there? Hoodies, baby grows. What else?
I will just give you anecdotal evidence that the most popular community swag that we've found that are not T-shirts, because those are terrible to give away at events, is anything to do with cables, like cable organizers or things like that, or any kind of charging or multi-port technology. Those are usually the things that prove to be more popular at given community events, just as an anecdotal piece of evidence.
Okay, excellent. And that would play well to their mobile-related items.
Right, and they're small and easy to give out, because if you do T-shirts at an event, you basically turn your booth into a retail store.
Yeah, and you then have to carry 6 different sizes, and you run out of sizes, and you have to have a lot of stock on hand, and it becomes expensive to ship stuff, and we have to consider all of that kind of thing as well. Sunglasses and caps, cool. Okay, that is good feedback. I think that is probably enough for now. Dave, I assume use cables is meant to be USB cables?
Yes, that should be USB.
Well, are people happy enough with the current stickers we have if we get another run of them done, or is there anything to change up on the stickers?
Which stickers are we talking about? I think on the screen it's just badges and buttons, isn't it?
Yes, we have existing AeroGear stickers doing the rounds.
Okay, I have a small one on my laptop. It's the full logo that says AeroGear with the 2 cogs. That kind of one is fine, yeah, if we have more of them.
You are literally like 2 hours too late. I just peeled all of the stickers off my laptop, and I had a couple of fun ones to point out. But I noticed a couple of years ago we had hexagonal stickers so that they could fit together with the other Red Hat stickers, and I don't think we had an AeroGear one of those.
Okay, so existing full logo one and hexagonal icon one. Okay, cool.
All right. So, John, are we happy with this? Or is there anything else you want to discuss on this one?
No, I'm good. I think I've gotten what I want, so thank you all.
Great. Okay. I think we can move this one to Gust. We'll probably will create some actions afterwards, but that probably will be assigned to John, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one we're going to look at is there are two cards have both 3 votes on this one, so I'm just going to pick one from the top. So I think this is kind of down to the technical side a bit. So this is looking at the moment our the architecture of our Android SDK is to show that it can cache the service instance. So I think this is not the case on some other SDKs, so I think the question here is, are we still doing the same thing for the Android SDK, or should we remove its function and align it with other with other SDKs? There's already a few comments from Summers. So Summer said we can't remove it in Xamarin because the cache is how we pass reference from platform split code to shared code to just us service the get instance. So Summers, do you think is there any changes required to other SDKs? Specifically, I think probably really only Xamarin is probably the only kind of it has a different limitation.
Yeah, I'm fine with Xamarin being an exception. I'm thinking about the case where we would have a user that has a custom, in this example, if you think about the case where a user has a custom module, in our a custom service, I mean, in Xamarin, it's straightforward to initialize a service and have part of that service's initialization register it with the cache. In Android, what we were originally trying to do was Android started up the service, and that was how it got introduced into the cache. And that is not a good idea, as it turned out. So once we got rid of Android starting up the service and caching it, the question of, do we still want services when they start up to cache themselves in Android? The answer is there's really not a good reason to do that. So the refactoring we're trying to do is, instead of get service auth service, move to just auth service.get instance. And that's kind of the difference between the two. Like in Xamarin, you will be having some sort of cache no matter what, so we should provide it. In Android, we don't need it, and it's a relic of a design decision that we evaluated and are moving away from.
Okay, so in this case, should we getting the Android SDK architecture updated to reflect the change we're going to make?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Is there any questions from anyone else? Okay, so the decision here is we will update the Android SDK architecture to remove the caching of the service. Android SDK will be the only exception to cache the service. Limitation on how to okay. I'm going to create a action after the call, and I probably will assign it to Summers. Is that okay?
There is just one thing that I wanted to say about the Xamarin Cache. The first times, the reason why we wanted to remove the cache was because we can have multiple instances of the service with different configuration. In Xamarin, we solved this because the cache we have is able to cache both by type and by ID. So even if we have the cache, we don't have the limitation of having one service for type, one service instance for type.
Yep. Okay. So we're okay with Xamarin to cache the service instance. Is that what you're saying, Massimo?
What I'm saying that is even if we have the cache, we don't have the drawbacks we discussed about the cache in Android and iOS. Because we can have multiple instances of the same service with different configuration, even if it is cached.
Yeah, well, I think we can do the same thing for Android and iOS SDK as well. But I think at this point, we're just not going to do that because I think what we thought is that it's really not SDK's job to cache the service instance. Really, there's plenty of dependency injection framework that can help with caching the instances. So that's why we're kind of not doing that part of work for Android or iOS. I don't think it's not really a limitation that we can't do it. It's really just that we won't do it.
Of course we can do. Just wanted to say that the Xamarin cache we have is different from the one we used to have on Android.
Yep.
So in other words, we are trying to move the cache responsibility from core to each service itself. So service can be singleton or stuff like that. We are only cut this responsibility from the core.
Right. Yep. I get you. So it will be up to each service implementation to decide if they want to provide a singleton service or maybe they want to just provide a constructor and the developers can call the constructor and create a new instance of the service if they want. So the core will not be responsible for doing that.
And the question you shot for some is I have each almost done in a branch on my app, so I can do that.
For the architecture update?
Not for the document, but for the SDK, for the code itself.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think. Okay. Would you mind updating the architecture guide then as well as part of the PR?
Sure, I can do both. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thank you, Passos. Okay. Anything else we want to discuss on this one? Okay. If not, we can move this one to discussed, and we'll create an action item afterwards. I think I see Paul White on the call now.
Hey guys.
Okay. Hey Paul. Good to have you on join call. I think you create this card on the agenda here about CI/CD for docs.aerogear.org, and it has been voted the top card to discuss. So, but you won't hear, so we don't know what exactly we need to do. So, if you don't mind, can you just briefly?
Actually, Circle CI, I see a comment there about Circle CI, and that would be my preference. It's really just to automate the running of Antora and then pushing to the repo that contains the HTML. I just haven't had time to do it. I thought I'd bring it up here. I should be BI, I suppose, for docs.aerogear.org, because I probably titled it wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think John, while you were not here, we discussed this briefly, and John said that probably in the future we want to move this to use our if we have an OpenShift instance available, we will use that to build and host the docs.AeroGear.org. And he's concerned that if we do some automation work now, it probably will become
Understandable. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it really a complicated job to actually build, to currently build this docs.AeroGear.org?
No, it isn't a complex thing. It's slightly error prone. That's all.
Well, are the steps documented on how to do it?
Yes, they are. They maybe not that actually the transfer to the other repo isn't documented. So yeah, okay, I'm missing that. That's actually a good point. I can update the README and add the steps about publishing it. Currently, I just document to the point where you've got HTML output, but there's the next step, which is, pushing it to the docs.aerogear.org repo.
And we don't have any staging area for docs, do we, at the moment?
No.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess getting the process documented is step one, and if someone does want to take a little bit of time to automate it with Circle CI for now, cool, but I would see within the next 6 weeks, I would hope that we'd have the community OpenShift instance in place and that a lot of this may go away.
Would you, John, a question on that? Would you see that as being, would that also render PRs? Like one of the things I'd like to see is that when somebody makes a PR, I'd like to, instead of reviewing the ASCII doc, I'd like to review the output. I'm not sure what that's called, but it's quite common in docs that when somebody makes a PR, that that commit is taken and built.
That's where I'd like to get to. That basically everyone has their own namespace on this community instance that they can run whatever they want on the mobile services and versions of docs and versions of AeroGear, so that we can treat them just like anything else that's deployed on an OpenShift instance. So if I had a new version of docs that I wanted someone to review, I could publish it to my own namespace. Like the URL with docs.aerogear.org, it'd be docs.dave.frizzell.aerogear community whatever, but that anyone would be able to publish versions of the website and versions of the docs in the same way as they can publish new versions of services that they're working on into their own namespaces. And then we would have anointed namespaces where we would host the actual website and docs from, that would have a little bit more rigor around what gets deployed and when.
Perfect. I'll wait for that. That's fine.
But in the meantime, if you could just add the last couple of steps so that anyone who needs to can do the manual process to publish the docs, it's not dependent on tribal knowledge.
Yep. Will do.
Cool.
Do we have a link handy, Paul?
For
of the README file, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll throw that into the chat. It is now in chat.
And how often are we doing the manual push at the moment?
I'd say typically once a day.
And how long that will take?
5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, it's not it's more like on Friday I just pushed it the wrong way and I checked the output. The output was fine, but all the URLs were kind of skewy because I pushed it at the wrong level. That was my motivation for putting it on the board today.
Right. Well, personally, I think it's not probably a lot of work to convert this into probably a Circle CI. It's relatively easy to do, and I would think it'd be good to at least have something automated, even it probably won't as sophisticated as we will have on OpenShift, but something there to save some time and probably push the changes more often. It probably will help as well.
Right. Yeah. That's the other thing, forgetting to actually do the push.
I guess the question way is whether the juice is worth the squeeze. Like if it takes 5 minutes to do and we're doing it once a day, then if it took an hour to automate, that would be 20 days of manually doing it. If it took 4 hours to automate, that'd be 80 days of manual docs deployments before you'd see a return on your investment. So is it worth it?
Yeah, I guess that's the question that I just hope it won't really take that long to do. But I haven't really done this menu step, so I don't know exactly how much involved to convert these steps into the Circle CI document. So it's hard to say how long it will take to actually create a Circle CI build from this.
How about this way? Because I had a Circle CI set up for when I was building using ASCII Binder, so I'm reasonably familiar with it. And I know that there's some complexity in here in mobile docs at the moment that can be removed because we're no longer talking from multiple repos. If I simplify things down and I start the Circle CI project and get it to a point where it's building, then could I pull somebody in, see if they could spend a half an hour, maximum half an hour of actually doing the bit where we're pushing out to the HTML repo, because that's something I don't know how to do, and it's probably relatively easy. And
yeah,
and the other thing, thinking about what John is saying, there's 17 on this call, and we've already spent 8 minutes talking about it, so that's not worth the juice either.
okay. Yep, I think that sounds reasonable. So
I'll update the Trello card and move on.
Okay. Cool. I think that's fine. And that's our last part for discussion for today. And that's great. I think we have 3 cards discussed, so I think we can finish here. Unless anybody has anything else want to discuss? All right. Thank you very much for everybody joining, and hopefully I'll see you next time.